لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. As we promised you, inshallah ta'ala, that I will show you the book that I recommended, inshallah, for the history of the Quran. But I got to, inshallah, if you actually need even more information. The first one is the history of the Quranic text from revelation to completion, from revelation to compilation. This is the first book, and the author is Muhammad Mustafa Azzani. Muhammad Mustafa Azzani, the name of the book, The History of Quranic Text from Revelation to Compilation. The second is for Abu Ammar, Sheikh Yasir al-Qadi, and the name of the book, An Introduction to the Science of the Quran. Very good book also, inshallah ta'ala. If you would like to read this book too, and you will get a lot of knowledge about the Quran. Because it is very important, before even you go the tafsir of the Quran, it is very important to know the history of this book. Like for example, the second ayah of Surah Al-Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. This book, there is no doubt about it. There is no doubt. And in order to really understand this word, there is no shak, no doubt about the Quran. It is the pure revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So before going to the tafsir, first of all, study the history of this book from the beginning of its revelation until it was combined in one mushaf. This is very important, inshallah ta'ala, to know about the book before you read its tafsir, inshallah. The books are available online, inshallah ta'ala. You can buy them from the website of Dar es-Salam. They are available everywhere in the country. The second part, inshallah ta'ala, as we said, if you have any questions, inshallah ta'ala, very simple and very brief because we don't have enough time. Otherwise, inshallah ta'ala, all the questions you have, I'm sure that you will find the answers in these two books, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm going to say exactly what someone said. Someone once invited one person to dinner. And then he said, if you eat, I will be happy. And if you don't eat, I will be even more happy. So if you ask, I will be happy. But if you don't ask, okay, inshallah, if you have any question, brief to the point, inshallah ta'ala, we'll get this. Yes.
Who named this?
Who named the surahs of the Quran? Okay, this is a very good question. Some of the surahs, some of them, not all of them, some of the surahs were named by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of them were named by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the rest of the surahs actually were named by the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But some surahs, many surahs, were named by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when the Quran was revealed, and then some surahs, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave it the name. From that, the surahs we take the subject of the surah, what the surah is talking about, and then they take the name from it. So yes, some of them from the Prophet, and the rest was done by the Sahaba.
Did they give the name in the life of the surah?
No, after the Prophet, the name was given to the rest of the surah when they were combining the Quran in one Muslim.
Yes. You talked about there are 7 dialects of Quran, and then Usman put it together. So did he choose one dialect, or still all 7 dialects are part of the Quran?
The one that Uthman made is actually the dialect of Quraysh, Lughat Quraysh. The one that Uthman, and then this is the one that Uthman actually limited all the people to its recitation. However, the other qira'at, the other types of the recitation of the Quran is still, until they still exist, until this very day, inshallah ta'ala. And there are so many people that read with it. For example, in Morocco, they read with the Warsh and Nafi'. Similar to this one, but a little bit. The meaning will not change, but different. Very very similar to the recitation of Hafs and Asim. And also the history of the 7 Qira'at was mentioned in these 2 books, inshallah. They will mention in these 2 books if you would like to know more about them, inshallah. What does it mean ألف لام ميم ألف لام راء in the Quran? This يقدم عن الحروف المقطعة. And no one knows its meaning but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one knows its meaning except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is i'jaz. This is actually it is the subhanallah. Definitely there is a meaning for it. Some of the scholars said it is qasam. It is a type of an oath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by them. But the most correct opinion is that no one knows the meaning of these letters except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The interesting part about these letters is the second ayah after them you will find something about the Quran. Subhanallah. You can go just over them in the Quran. For example, Alif Lam Mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. ألف لام ميم صاد كتاب أنزلناه إليك. حاميم والكتاب المبين. ألف لام ميم را تلك آيات الكتاب. So subhanallah, most of them, the ayah that was coming after them, something about the Quran that this is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the real meaning of these letters, no one knows it but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay.
Did the rules of tajweed come with the revelation of Quran, or how did they decide that the rules of the tajweed in the revelation?
The rules of tajweed actually, there was nothing in that was called idgham and idhar during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for example, when we say instead of man ya'mal, we say man ya'mal. The names of these rules were not there at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, later on, from the recitation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the scholars of the Quran were able to derive the rules from it and name it. So for example, in this ayah, we skip noon and we put 2 letters together, so they call it idgham. In this ayah, we say the noon very clear, without any gunna, so let's say it idgham. So the rules were there, the Prophet ﷺ used to recite by the rules of tajweed. However, the names of these rules were not there at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. It came later on from Ibn al-Jazari, rahimahullah.
I have a prayer book by the name of the weekdays, that is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But in the one day, there is a prayer. But the prayer, the subject is not written correctly. It is something goes to the same time. If at the same day as it is published. But if we will put something ahead of that word, then it becomes good word. So I study, that is I cite maybe 7-8 weeks every day, one day. So then one day, since then I was citing, I was feeling something when I read over there, over that word. So one day I researched, so that one goes to the same side, but it was regarding the river. So it was what? It because the word goes to the Prophet.
Yes.
So I cited maybe 7-8 times. So how much I self-needed, it is not my part, because I do not know the meaning of the Hadi. So, but when I researched, then I found the exact word in other prayers. So, since then I have stopped this by the prayer.
Anything was done out of jahl, out of ignorance, without knowing that inshallah it will be forgiven, and the person will not be held responsible for that, inshallah. I think the time is running, and because if I answer your questions, then you are not going to read them. So I want to make sure that you read these books, inshallah. However, if you have more questions, you can talk to me face to face at any time, inshallah.